sentence I'm about to say will sound like I have been huffing copium for the past year and a half. It appears that we are back.
It seems like a true return to form. So many other things thematically and like philosophically are returning to a more grounded battle royale.
A lot of my gripes came from the map of Verdansk itself, but those issues that I have with the map seem to be addressed. I think that this Warzone on release sounds better than what I remember playing.
It is finally here and it is looking good. We have official details on everything coming to Verdansk. I'm not going to give the cliche of Warzone is saved or Warzone is doomed. When Verdansk returns on April 3rd, 2025, players who dropped in 5 years previously should instantly recognize the original map. This version of Verdansk has been painstakingly rebuilt from the ground up to give you the very best battle royale experience possible. That experience balances the immersion, adjusted movement mechanics, signature gameplay you remember from the original Call of Duty with one overriding goal: to relive classic and nostalgic Verdansk we all remember. Now, in that COD podcast, they mentioned that they are going to be creating a movement engine specific to Warzone. So it'll be still based off the Omni movement engine, but they're making tweaks to separate and delineate it from Black Ops 6 and make it a Warzone specific movement engine. Thank God. A great deal of work has gone into making Verdansk an exact, detailed, and authentic as an update as possible. In the most basic terms, this version of Verdansk is 95% a rebuilt version of Verdansk 2020, with around 5% of the map's landscape receiving light adjustments, quality of life improvements. I have not played early. I'm not invited out to those playtests because I'm very critical of the game. So I'm not going to be gassing this up unless it's deserved, but so far, everything I'm hearing so far is deserving of the praise. There are no redeploy balloons, so you're going to have the more classic battle royale rotations where vehicles are going to matter a lot for getting held. Initially, Call of Duty Warzone adopted the movement values directly from multiplayer with good intent, but adjustments are needed to better align with the unique demands of Warzone's map and engagement playstyles. Thank goodness. I was ripping them apart about this whenever Black Ops 6 launched because they wanted it to feel one-to-one from Black Ops 6 multiplayer, and I've been beating my head against the wall for 6 months waiting for them to change, and thank goodness. Wait, gas grenades are gone. Impacts and gas grenades are gone. Thank God. Spring mines. Make it to where you can prone underneath a spring mine again. You used to be able to prone underneath proximity mines back in MW 2019. Spring mines go off so fast, they're basically an instant kill. Where are the claymores? I would much rather have claymores over spring mines. Claymores only affect one area, a limited radius, turning lethal, the thermite. They got rid of it. It was crazy, crazy powerful. It is coming back. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Ooh, they made it again to where the box can act as an explosive device if fired at or close to another detonation. That used to be a thing. You could throw down a box and shoot it, and it would basically be like an additional frag grenade, or if you saw a team hitting it, you could shoot it and it would blow up and hit the entire team. And the trophy system only destroys 3 pieces of equipment, because I think the trophy system at one point there for a bit was like taking out like 8. I think it was bugged. It was taking out so many pieces of equipment inside of Warzone. There's so many things that were just absolute W changes throughout this. I mean, I can't remember too many things reading through this that I wasn't thrilled to hear about. It seems like a true return to form. We're going to have to see how those movement changes feel. But since so many other things thematically and like philosophically are returning to a more grounded battle royale, it makes sense.
I was reading some comments on my video yesterday, and I saw some people talking about how the flip-flopping is crazy. And while I agree, like, obviously there's some whiplash with, like, the whole being conflicted about whether or not you want Warzone to succeed, and can Warzone still even be something? If Warzone is in a perfect form, would I even still enjoy it? At no point did I say that I wasn't gonna try Verdansk. I did say on multiple occasions, though, that I don't think that it'll save the game. Don't think that it'll ever, like, blow up to what it was before. It could potentially save the game or whatever. And I said, I think that there will be hype as soon as it starts coming out, but when we see about a month later, 2 months later, then we'll really see where everything is sitting. Also, at that time, I had no idea like what they were and weren't changing over on Verdansk, and understand that a lot of my gripes came from the map of Verdansk itself and the general playstyle that's promoted, but those issues that I have with the map seem to be addressed. So of course my tune is going to change because the map is no longer the same. There's also this other thing that I noticed where it's like celebrated to never change your opinion or to like never intake new information and change change like your opinion about something. People think it's this like courageous thing to come to some kind of conclusion and stick to that conclusion no matter what information you're presented with. That is unironically the easy thing to do as a human being. It is easy to come to a conclusion, have an opinion, and then plug your ears and don't listen to anything else. That is the easy thing to do. I did say a part of me did want Warzone to fail in a way just to see like what Activision would do, but there's a lot of people that are saying shit like that. That's not necessarily a Warzone thing, because I think Call of Duty could still survive off of multiplayer alone. Some other people don't agree with that, but I do. But regardless of what happens here, I got presented with information that I like the sound of, so I'm trying not to be negative, you know, without trying it at least. Dude, imagine I spent that entire video tearing the whole thing apart. Then the comments would have just been saying something along the lines of, I'm not even giving the game a chance. Why am I even talking about it at all? I think that this Warzone on release sounds better than what I remember playing. And again, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know if it is or is not. I just got all of that information yesterday about what is and isn't confirmed to be changing, and it sounds pretty good. I am excited for it. I am preparing for it.
Fully aware that the sentence I'm about to say will sound like I have been huffing copium for the past year and a half, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It appears that we are back. Yeah, I know I'm a COD YouTuber and I want everything to be back, but I actually think we are, because let me show you. These are all the things that we know about Verdansk. Number one, they're gonna delete Warzone, and then the next day, 24 hours later, we go live with the Verdansk update. Not everything can be good news. The ability to swim has been added, but there is limited amount of water on this map. You get free skins. You already spawn into the real world with one, but you get a whole bunch by accessing Warzone on April 3rd. These are all the milsim ones, so you don't have to run around looking like a duck or a cat or any of the other ridiculous skins they have in this game. You also get free things just for logging on. Warzone, again, free to play, and these are going to be free for you. You get the kilo, straight up. If you're coming back to the game, you get the kilo, you get to run around with it. You're probably going to have to level it up, but like, so am I. We're all going to be on the same playing field. Warzone's going to have a unique movement to it. I saw a lot of comments yesterday saying Omni movement. Don't love it that much. They say it's going to be closer to the original experience in terms of pacing and gameplay feel. The Grau itself is coming back to the game, but in the form of a conversion kit for the SWAT 556, a gun you probably haven't used because it's very bad. Make sure to level it up before the game goes live, because you're probably going to want to play with your new toy. I kind of like that they're taking the map offline. I mean, obviously it's going to be a bummer if you're trying to play it, but that's when people can get online and get things. They're reverting almost everything, so your contracts are going to be the same. The noises are going to be the same. Back to what I think is actually an incredibly underrated decision that they're making, and potentially signals something they could be doing going forward in the future. And that is making the movement a little bit different than it is in multiplayer and Omni movement. It's the first time that we have seen them break from this model of Warzone is Call of Duty is Warzone. There's no separating the two. It's a very interesting choice, because for a while they've been like, now you're just this, everything's married. You're married to each other. What happens in multiplayer happens in Warzone. There is nothing you can do about it. And now for the first time, they're kind of relaxing that stranglehold that they have, and I think that is for the best, because what is good for multiplayer is not always good for Warzone. I think we've seen a lot of fatigue with people over the years where it's like, okay, I just got good at this. I finally unlocked all the things, and now I got to go buy a $60 to $100 if you're buying the fancy bundles version of a game, learn it all over again, level up guns, and it just kind of sucks. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, sure, it's fun for me because I have a new game to play, but also this is my job, so I'm gonna play it anyway. Over like 2 or 3 years, they have gotten away from what made Warzone OG so popular. I get it, you make a bunch of tweaks, some changes around the edges, but you do that for years, and then all of a sudden you wake up and the game is completely different than the thing that people really enjoyed playing. What we saw today, though, does give me a lot of hope that they are beginning to listen, and the reason why I think it took so long is, well, there's a few reasons. Number one is just stubbornness. I think generally when you create a video game, and I've talked to a lot of developers, you're making a piece of art. Obviously the art needs to be profitable, and corporate overlords determine how profitable it will be, how many bundles you're gonna have to sell, yada yada yada. Business does come into the equation at some point, but you want to keep this thing as close to your original vision as possible. But number two is just the development cycle of these games. They're usually 3 years staggered, so they're already working, one studio is, on the Call of Duty that's going to come out 3 years from now. And when you have that much lead time going into a video game, you can take some of the things, but not all of the things that people really like about the current game, and put it into yours, because that train has already left the station. Okay, so I guess we're back, guys.
And this is a hot take. There should be one-hit snipers, because these ARs, they have no recoil. Obviously, the anti-cheat, give us a damn anti-cheat that works. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm hopeful. You guys remember when you could look up someone's Activision ID accounts? Imagine if they brought that back. When you're able to look up this guy that you think is cheating, you got the daily stats, the weekly stats, the lifetime stats. You can see if there's a person with a 1.2 KD lifetime And then in the last week, he's got a 6.0 KD and he's got a 70% headshot ratio. That is an obvious cheater. We played Verdansk for about 1.5 to 2 years, and I know it's coming back and it's recycled. One thing that I will say is they got to keep player retention. From a streamer, I have both ways. I want COD to succeed and I want COD to fail, and I'm about to tell you guys why. I want COD to succeed, obviously, because the better they do, the better I can do. Everything I've invested is into Call of Duty. If COD makes COD great again, I can fucking continue to be great. Or it raises the ceiling. It's easier when there's more people playing the game. Hear me out. I kind of want them to fail. I know this sounds harsh, but for the long term. Obviously, we've been playing COD for years, and we're pretty. They're CODs. The guys that make COD are stubborn, and it's very frustrating from the community standpoint. If this does not work and it fails, then maybe they will be forced to rework the whole entire system. Maybe they'll have to break the wheel and refix it. So who knows? So I hope it does succeed and it dominates and it breaks records, and a lot of people love the game and they do a great job running it. But I mean, if they don't, something's got to change at some point. But again, Microsoft is not some wrinkly dinkly business. Microsoft is one of the biggest businesses in the world, worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. These guys bought Activision for billions of dollars, and when Microsoft buys Activision, Activision's largest asset is Call of Duty. They're not going to mess it up, but maybe they'll change something on the inside. I don't know. We'll see. They got to keep the game interesting. Put some POIs in there. Do something like Nakatomi. Nakatomi event was my favorite event ever in Warzone. It was the best event ever. You put the biggest building in the center of downtown. That was absolutely an incredible experience, Nakatomi. So I hope that these guys can keep the map fresh, do some sort of updates, events, limited time modes, anything that these guys can do to keep it fresh. Because if we have Verdansk and nothing changes for 3 or 4 months, that is going to be a terrible sign, because we have already played this game. This is the first time that we've ever replayed the same Battle Royale map years later. It's going to get bland twice as fast. So since we've already played it once, this is their second time around. They got to just do something enticing, events, maps, POIs on the map, make it interesting, make it fun, update stuff. Just give us something. Keep the players coming back. That's how you guys are going to maximize your microtransactions in the store, is to keep the game fresh, continue to update it, continue to bring new players back, or continue to keep the current players still playing. They're going to keep buying bundles in the store. I don't think it's that much work that can help all of us. So we'll kind of see how this goes. I'm not a game developer. I'm just a streamer, but I do feel like I have a very good understanding of how Call of Duty works.